Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. Hello?
Hello, we're live.
Hello? We're live!
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Man, I want to eat the
Alright.
rest of this pack of peanut butter crackers, but I know it's going to make a lot of noise, so I'm not going to.
Well,
I'll
maybe
sneak it
there will
in.
be a time where I talk for a long time, and then you can eat your peanut butter crackers.
Yeah. By the way, the orange ones are the best ones, correct?
What?
Peanut butter crackers.
What do you mean?
These?
Oh, the orange cracker and the peanut butter inside.
Yes.
I prefer Ritz Bits.
Ritz Bits?
Yeah.
The little guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be fair, I don't have peanut butter crackers just sitting around, you know?
Yeah, we just got them at Dollar Tree.
Nice.
I always pick those over the ones that are like saltine looking
Yeah.
because they taste better. Apparently, they're supposed to taste like cheese or something. I don't know. They just taste great.
They just taste great.
Yeah. I do not like the ones with cheese in them, though. No thanks.
Yeah, you have to be in a real specific mood to like the ones with cheese in them, in my opinion. That's like chicken and biscuits with fucking cheese whiz. You gotta be in a very specific mood with chicken and biscuits and cheese whiz.
Is that a specific... Oh, okay. Chicken biscuit being the cracker. I was thinking,
Yes.
like, that's a flavor of the cheese whiz? No.
No, that's the cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Just cheese whiz in general, actually.
I think I've only had cheese whiz, like, once.
It's kind of disgusting, but it also, like I said, it just needs a very specific moment. You know?
Yeah. Would you actually consider that cheese?
Plastic cheese.
Like, basically liquid Kraft singles?
Yeah, I think that Kraft singles are more cheese than cheese whiz. Hold on.
What percentage of cheese is cheese whiz?
Cheese whiz. Skim milk, canola oil, maltodextrin, whey protein concentrate, sodium phosphates. I see no cheese in there, but there is milk and whey, so...
I mean, cheese is made up of things
Right,
to make
exactly,
it cheese.
exactly.
It's not just like, it doesn't just say cheese on the bag for ingredients.
No, it does not. Sometimes they mix, like, cheddar cheese with whatever. Let's see. Kraft singles, cheddar cheese. Cultured
That's all it says?
milk, salt, enzymes, skim milk, milk fat, milk protein concentrate, whey, calcium phosphate, sodium phosphate. I
But it
would
did say cheddar
consider
cheese on it?
Kraft singles to be more cheese than cheese whiz.
Okay. I mean, I would suspect it's pretty hard to get actual cheese into an aerosol can.
I would
have it
imagine. That stays good forever.
Yeah, quite
will-
the challenge.
Right. Yeah. That's disgusting. I feel like throwing up right now. Gross.
Yeah, no thanks.
Anyway, somebody messaged me today. It was Caroline, who we talked to.
Revisionist Studios?
Revisionist Studio. She messaged me and told me that she lived in New York City, right next to where they blew up the balloons.
Oh, really?
And she said they do, in fact, blow them up the night before.
Right.
And it is, in fact, wild. So I just thought I'd update on that. It's been a few weeks, I think, since that one was released, but there's been quite the hubbub about that in my direct messages.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that episode just came out,
It did.
like in real time. From, a few days ago from when
Yeah.
we're actually recording this. So, okay, yeah, I'm sure they had to have a nice big area to do that. So,
Yeah.
must be like these streets are closed during this time.
For sure. Okay. We're trying to be good about time today, but we'll see how we do. Ryan, how was Nashville?
It was great. Lots of good food. It was the right length of time. I can't remember the last time we were there, but we didn't. I don't think we did a lot. I've usually gone there to see like a show at the Ryman or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's been focused around that and not actually like seeing the city very much. But yeah, lots of good food, lots of like vintage and thrift shopping and stuff like that. So there was a good East Nashville was pretty good for that. The Graduate was nice. The Dive
Nice.
Motel was nice.
Nice.
By the way, they changed the parking at the Graduate outside there. Like they don't have the old kiosks anymore. They all have the QR code thing since you've been there last. So
Oh, that's lovely.
I mean, we ended up parking in the garage overnight because they didn't. I did the math on it, and it wasn't any cheaper than the garage that was $20. I didn't do the valet. The valet with Graduate is $50, but
Holy shit.
and they don't offer like self park or like overnight in a garage that's through the
Right.
Graduate. So we just parked in the garage that was like right next to it because it's by the
It's by the
by
hospital.
the hospital. And I was looking, I was like, the hospital has visitor and patient entrance garage. What happens if you park in there?
I also thought the same thing. Yes.
I didn't see that until we were leaving, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we could have parked in there and just walked over. But
Yeah, but the street parking was exponentially cheaper when I went the last time.
yeah, I
So-
want to say it was $1.75 an hour
Yeah.
street parking for the like barcode.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Did-
there was some street parking, which was good, but
Did you go to the bar that had all the old school I texted you like right while you were there, but there's a bar that has like a bunch of old school like games and like fucking skeet shooting and not skeet
kind of like a
shooting.
barcade sort of.
Yeah, an arcade bar that they're all free.
I saw one on the map. I don't remember. I remember you texted me, but we did not end up going to one of those. We had to hit 3 tiki bars while we were there, and we were only there 3 nights and 4 days.
Good lord.
So we hit all 3 tiki bars while we were there. Those were the drinking locations
Yeah.
of choice, which were pretty good. Like they had some good options. I did see the barcade, so we'd probably have to go to the barcade next time because it was more like close to downtown, I think, or a little bit south of downtown.
It was like walking distance from the
Graduate.
like 2 minutes of a walk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to go there next time. And then we met up with a friend of mine that I went to grade school with that lives in Nashville now. He does like he's a chef at a deli. He's a cook at a deli. He moved to Nashville for cooking, and he was like at these fancy restaurant and stuff. And then he's been working at a deli the last couple of years, I think, or a year and a half or something. So we met up with them, caught up. I think that was most of the trip. I mean, just a lot of going shopping and stuff like that. So we went to a comedy show that was really good too at
I
Zany's.
saw that. How was that?
That was great. It was usually I'm picking people based on if I know them or not. That was one that I didn't actually know, but he's from New York. It was Phil Hanley, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, he's a regular at the Comedy Cellar in New York. New York is like pretty big for comedy, and there's a lot of people that do comedy there. So I'm like, he's probably gonna be pretty good. So he did not disappoint. And yeah, so good time overall. The drive back was not too bad. It was about
Yeah.
4 hours back home, so definitely Not a bad trip.
Sweet.
So we'll go back at some point. But yeah, what's up? What's new with you? What went on this weekend?
Well, the only thing that was the only like actual thing that went on that was, I suppose, momentous was that I lost my shit in a dentist office and just started crying. That was fun.
Oh, you went to the dentist on Friday. That was this past Friday, wasn't it?
It was, okay, here's what happened. So I was going to go to the dentist this Friday, and then I met this person at the bar in the studio. So it's not like a super far bar. And they were like, hey, my friend owns a dentist office and they're just trying to get it going. You should go there. And I was like, and it was a lot closer. And so I was like, okay. So I canceled the dentist appointment at my other thing and then called them and then got an appointment on Tuesday. And then I go in. Keep in mind that I am like...
Was this a sketchy dentist? Like...
No. It was really nice. And
okay.
I'm like mentally preparing myself to pay about $350 for like a year of like cleaning and stuff like that, okay? Because that's what most dentists, I think, have. I don't know. But the dentist that Deanna sent me to, it's like $350. You get 2 cleanings, fluoride, and x-rays. And like that covers like the whole year. And then you get like 30% off the rest.
This is the new one that you ended up
No, that's the one that
with.
Deanna was going to send me to, the one on Friday that I canceled.
Okay.
And then I assumed that the new one would be very similar. Because they were like, yeah, our program is like $350 right now. It's a special. And I was like, great. So I go there. The dentist comes out. He's super fucking nice. Like, super nice. This has nothing to do with the dentist. It has everything to do with me. And...
You already got the cleaning, I'm guessing?
No. And this is before the cleaning. This is before anything has happened. So I still have yet to go.
I never see the dentist until after the cleaning.
Nope.
Okay.
He came out. I think it was because I was a new patient. He came out and he was like, I just wanted to go over some options with you so you knew. And he was like, this is our program. It's $350. And that gets you your first cleaning. And then if you want to continue it, like, and then after that, every month, it's $35.
So it's a subscription.
Right. So it's it's $350 plus like $400. And
fuck.
in my brain,
just to get a cleaning, basically.
Just get like cleanings, x-rays, and all those things, but you're locked in for the whole year. So really it's like $750.
Fuck.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in my brain, I was not mentally capable of adding in those like numbers. And so I was like computing all the numbers in my head while he's talking to me and getting like extremely overwhelmed, and then realizing that I did not have enough money for this and that I can't afford to go to the dentist, and I'm like spiraling downward into like a panic attack and then just start crying. And the dentist is like super nice about it. He's like, I'm so sorry. Do you want a tissue? And he like gave me a tissue and stuff. And I was like, I'm so sorry. This is nothing to do with you. I just can't. This is why I haven't been to the dentist.
I can't afford this.
I can't afford this. And like, it's never happened to me where I was like in front of somebody realizing that I didn't have enough money. Like, while they were like, so do you want to make a decision?
Yeah.
And
I mean, at least they did that before they gave you a cleaning. And then
I know.
like, this is
I
what
can't
you
imagine having it afterwards.
Fuck.
I was like, I don't want to do this. And I just was like, he was like, that's
But what
fine.
were the benefits of the subscription? Why would you pay for a subscription?
I don't know. I would much rather just pay a flat tax the whole year, you know?
Right. You pay each time
Yeah.
you go
And
visit,
like,
and...
Deanna's dentist is like half that, you know? So...
Yeah.
But then also, if I go to Deanna's dentist now, like and I do have cavities, I'm going to have to stay around. And so I called Joe, and I'm just going to go to the dentist in Utah. So.
Okay. I was going to say, I was wondering if you rescheduled with the original dentist.
I was planning on it, but then I'll just find a dentist in Utah, and I'll just figure it out and maybe save a little bit more up until that time. But like, yeah, I just was not capable of It was rough. It was really rough.
Okay. It sounded like you could have been more ready with the original appointment.
Oh, if I had gone to the original appointment,
You would have been fine?
I would have been fine. I would have been like,
Okay.
okay, great. This is how much money. Cool. You know? And I'm
Yeah.
just, and I think that that's part of it. I was like, man, I fucking canceled this other one to go to this one. And, you know, and it's taken me a whole year just to get a fucking dentist appointment anyway. And like,
So you should have been happy with like, okay, I got a thing scheduled. Like, no, I don't want to add any more complications. They could add unknowns.
Right.
I have this thing scheduled. I'm going to stick to the schedule.
I know.
Even though I could save a little bit of money potentially, or it could be the same or
Right.
something different. I should just stick to what
I should have stick to what it was, but I didn't.
Because it took you a lot to even schedule that appointment initially, too.
Yeah.
So.
But I didn't, and so here we are, and so I will do it in Utah, and I'll probably go to the dentist school, because Joe said there's like a dentist school in Utah, and and this dentist also said that he was like, I work at the dentist school, and you can get way cheaper cleanings and stuff if you want to go to the dentist school, but you kind of have to like be here, you know, and so I'll do that.
Yeah, the dentist school is great. I'm sure that's
I'll do that when I have
reasonable.
time in Utah. So that's what happened to me this week. Other than that, I am just scooting all the way through with all of my cosmic era jewelry stuff, which is good.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. Sweet. Let's do our first question. Look at us being like...
Yeah, very efficient. What is this? Where are we at? We're at
It's 16
16 minutes. What is going on?
You guys. What? Okay. I'm going to read this question. It's from Marge Ceramics. Marge. MARG.ceramics. As holiday season is gearing up, I've been trying to figure out how to maximize my time/output in the studio so I can take advantage of the additional shopping spending this time of year. Especially because I know January through April will be a slow season. Do you make any changes to your studio schedule, the way you allocate your time to make sure you're making the most of the holiday season? For instance, would you take vacation time from your full-time job so that you can increase production in the studio during these months? Also, do you change your focus once January hits? For instance, do you focus on reaching out to wholesalers, focus on online updates, etc., since there are less in-person markets? Marge Ceramics. He did eat a cracker, and I think that my reading is bumped up to like 6th grade instead of 4th grade, so just for today. That was a lot.
You're talking about because of the speed in which you read it?
Yeah, that was a lot faster than normal. Okay, I will start.
I had 2 crackers during that, by the way.
You know, 2 crackers. Nice.
Yeah.
I will start.
I was speedy.
So I think that I definitely schedule a little bit more time during the holiday season. I feel like because, well, I don't work all that much anyway, but when I do work, I am okay with spending a little extra time in the studio in the holiday season for me. Like today, I'll probably be here till like midnight, just because I want to get some stuff in and out really quick. And so, but I don't have a regular job, but I just try to kind of like be more focused, have more goals and lists that I like need to get finished so that I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lists are definitely important. I mean, as of today, it's November 9th.
Yeah. We're going to be a little late on this, but
I'm pretty much not going to be making anything else new that I expect to be selling at shows.
Right.
Before the end of the year. So, like, I try to focus, like, okay, all of my wet clay days are over. Maybe I'm attaching handles on a few things just to finish a bisque kiln. But most of my focus is going to be on getting the pieces through the process and finished that I've already have bisque fired or greenware that I need to get bisqued and all that stuff. So if that gives you any ease of like, okay, where should I spend my time? Like, I wouldn't spend my time grinding away at making
Yeah.
stuff fresh from scratch, because you're gonna spend so much time trying to get those last minute things. It's kind of late at this point at early November.
Yeah, I definitely am like I haven't worked on anything current like that I would normally sell at a show for probably 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just working on a new jewelry line so that I can get ready for
But what were
like,
you doing in those 2 to 3 weeks? Were you finishing pieces, or were you restocking for shows, or what?
No, I haven't been restocking because I haven't had great shows, so I haven't needed to restock. But I'm just working on like stuff that I need in January for my wholesale line.
Okay.
So, yeah, like I'm more working for stuff to my future and also like figuring out how I'm going to do mystery boxes and how I'm going to do stuff online as opposed to like focusing on my shows. Now, if I had shows up until like December, I'd be fucking busting ass right now.
Yeah. I don't have any shows in December. I have November 29th is my last one.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much like I'm bisque firing some things now, and I've got probably one more bisque kiln that I can fill, and then I'll have the mug club that I need to finish. Like, mug club is not standard for everybody, but
Yeah.
that's the thing I'm focusing most of my energy on. If it's wet clay work, just because I have a deadline, I got to get it done. So
I think that oh, go on.
but for the most part, I'm just getting myself organized with the pieces I have bisque fired and getting them out. And yeah, I would say that should help you. And then I have taken days off work. It's a little, I don't know, it's like a mental shift for me if I take a day off work and I expect myself to be fully productive in the studio, because then I feel guilty if I'm not.
Right.
And maybe I'll check off some little tasks off the list that I needed to get done, but it doesn't feel as productive as if I would encourage you to maybe if you work a 9 to 5 job or something where you can take time off and you're not scolded by your boss or your manager, or you have to like pull teeth to get your day off and all that stuff. If you can take a day off, like take a day off, like a Friday off or a Monday off or whatever, and or a half day or whatever. And if that works for you and you can be productive, like go in with a plan for that day.
Yeah.
I would tend to sleep in and probably sleep until 9:30 or 10 or whatever, and I lose part of the day, and then my schedule's off of like, when do I eat lunch, and I probably forget to. And when coming in with a list for the day, I think is going to be more beneficial, so you can actually get through the things you need to get through.
I think that also, like, maybe instead of November, take like there's no like time slots here that we're talking about, but I would say really what you should be doing, I think, is in September or October, November, December. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
September or October, take a day off from work. Instead of taking a day off later, take a day off and really look at what you want your winter to look like and what you really want your like holiday season to look like. And that's where you can start making all your lists and your goals and what you want it to be, because I think that's going to be a little bit more beneficial to you than doing it like, taking a day off in the middle of
mid-November.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
where you're like, okay, I need to use this time to glaze or whatever.
Right. And I think that when you plan out the holiday season, it makes it a lot more enjoyable. Also, I think that definitely having a week where you don't have a show, if you're a show person, like having a week in October or November where there is no show, just so that if you do feel behind, you can catch up or just take a breather. I think that's really important too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I intentionally lightened my show load like November or October and a little in December for sure, because I think I did like one a month in October and September maybe.
Yeah.
So it was lighter intentionally. because I had some big shows leading up to this time of year, and then I have time to quote unquote like restock some things or or because I feel like if you're like these days I'm going in and I'm like I have so much to do that I can't stop to think. I can't think for that like ideal like what do I want my holidays to look like and have this like planning period of figuring it out. I don't have time to do that because I feel bogged down and like it stresses me out more when I'm like I wake up and I'm like I have so much to do. I can't take time to plan. I just have to get busy doing these things that I have to, I got to get this kiln loaded so I can get it fired so I can have it for this weekend, or I got to get these mugs figured out so that I can move on to the next step.
That's not healthy. Don't do what Ryan's doing.
But if you plan ahead far enough in the fall so that you're ready, or I think the days off have helped. Like
For
today
sure.
I came in and I made a list. I think I made a list last night before I went to bed. And I checked off every single thing on the list except I got to measure a few mugs with the volume. But but yeah, we'll get through it. A little bit of like, not planning. I was a little iffy about the vacation. I mean, the vacation was already on the calendar, so like that was going to happen. But like hopefully that is helpful for me so that it gave me a rest and relaxation before I got to get in there and like continue the pace that I need to carry me through the rest of this month. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then the January hits. Do you change in January, for instance, contacting the wholesalers?
Yeah, my January is all about wholesale. Actually, the end of December and January is all about wholesale for me. It's going to be 100%.
Yeah, I don't really focus on online updates, wholesalers. I don't really reach out to the new wholesalers in that time. I'll probably just be in making. I'll just be in restocking and just kind of mostly like applying to shows and things like that. I will do that. I'll plan out my year a little bit. Apply to shows if you need to apply to shows, and like look for some shows during that Christmas to New Year's period, like right that last week of the year. If you don't want to like be getting actually dirty and making stuff, you can just be planning and looking ahead.
Yeah.
To finish out the year. I think that's going to be beneficial. I've got for the first time, I just got into the Kentucky Crafted program, and I have that show in March. The Kentucky Crafted Market in March, which is actually a wholesale show and a retail show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to plan for what offerings I want to have for the wholesale day and get like a official line sheet or something together so that I can have some paperwork ready for that. So I have a feeling that's going to be my January, February kind of time frame, besides the, going to ClayCon West and getting ready for NCECA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice. I feel like once mid-December, late December hits, like no shows are on the calendar, so my weekends are more free, and then I can go about, having time in the studio and just making.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So. All right. Thanks for the question. I don't know what her name is. I don't know if it is Marg.
I would imagine it's Margaret.
Because I follow her, but Marg.
Marge.
It just says Marge. Yeah. Marge. She's in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, she had a big show season, I think, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, good luck the rest of the year. Get all those sales out. It feels a little... I know I get like, ooh, I don't want to miss the opportunities to make sales. So that's why I don't like mail it in this time of year.
Also, remember to take a break in January. Like, take an intentional week of like not walking into your studio to kind of like reset too. Even if you like what you're doing, it is important to take a break. Fucking Heidi takes a whole month off in January, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, hell
that's
yeah.
crazy.
That's
A
awesome.
month.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What is our topic of discussion?
So this is kind of a follow-up to the episode that you did solo. I listened to it a few days ago now, and the topic that I came up with, which is kind of a piggyback off of that, is what influences a buyer to purchase.
Uh-huh.
So I think a lot of what you were talking about was in that aspect, and there were some things that, as you were saying, I was like making a list of like how I wanted to reply to that part, or some things that I thought of when you're talking about certain situations or whatnot. So
So if
I
you
think
haven't listened to my really terrible solo episode, and I mean terrible audio wise, sorry for that. Solo
I think
episode.
you should put the AirPods in next time. Just put the AirPods in so your thing's not moving around or whatever.
The AirPods.
If they last
the
that
AirPods
long.
were in Indiana, and I was in Louisville. I would have. I absolutely.
Did you have the podcast headphones?
Oh, you know what I did, but I don't have a way to like.
You don't have a mic on them?
I know there's a mic on them, but I don't have a way to put them into my phone.
Oh, you don't have a
Next time, I
dongle?
will plan accordingly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, if you listen to that, this is going to be kind of a piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of go in order of kind of as it flowed through your episode.
Okay.
So the first thing that I think I took away was...
Wait, should we refresh really quickly of what it was about?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I can't. I did it a long time ago, but essentially, it was that I went to the show. It was not great for me, and I've decided that it was me and not the show. And kind of like going over what can be done to make it better if it is you. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I was... Well, first off, I was like, one of the things that you were talking about was going into the show, and you're just like, you've accepted that it's going to be a bad show.
I have.
And like, you're just... And I think a lot of the... And I think you're already doing something to counter that, which is having, someone help you with picking the shows, signing up for the shows, so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So like, Rachel's going to help you do that.
Well,
Because-
but also it's just this year too. Like, it's like this. I have a show in Bloomington this coming weekend, and last year I did $4,000 in it, and I am not expecting $4,000. I would love to have $4,000, but I think it's going to be like 2.5.
Okay, so go in there wanting to get 2.5.
Yeah.
I get it. You want to have 4, but don't say it's going to be
Yeah.
shit and I'm not going to get 4. It's going to be 2.5 if
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Like, shift the
perspective. Yeah.
the
For sure.
perspective so that you're going in.
I
a
typically
positive.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because I feel like every time I ask you about a show, you're like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like, like what show is it? Where's it at? What kind of expectations do you have? So that just led me to write down repetition. And what I meant by that was doing the same shows. So
Right.
you're consistent. For one, that's good for you because you go in with more data and information about what kind of customers are there, what kind of setups work, what kind of peers do you have around you that will influence,
Right.
how what items might sell better or worse at the show, or money wise, what people are willing to spend. So I think that's a big part of like, it takes time to get better and better with those shows.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
especially from the customer's perspective, I think it's a stretch to expect somebody to come in cold, never met you before, have a super quick interaction with you, and expect them to buy immediately.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I think having the consistency of seeing you, even if it's a year past, like maybe you had like an okay show, but then you come back to it and you can get those repeat customers that are like, oh, I remember you from last year. I remember you had these things that I was looking at, or I ended up getting, maybe they got a pair of earrings and this time they're getting like a couple pair, or they've been using them and they're like, okay, I'm getting enjoyment and appreciation of the thing that I bought from you, or oh, I wish I would have got that last time. And I remember you, and it could be your face that they remember, it could be the items they remember, it could be something funky about your shirt you were wearing or something. But it just gives them a point of connection so that they can like want to support you. It just gives them multiple points of interaction with you. And then the repetition, as in like the consistency of the work too. Like if people see your work over and over, then they'll remember it. Like I do a lot of shows around Cincinnati, so you know, having shoppers that come see me in the same city over and over allows them to get more familiar with my work or see my work in different businesses around town. They're like, oh, I've seen your stuff in this gallery. Like, do you have stuff there? I feel like I've recognized your work.
Right.
Or I think that also helps. So, and that's a way that your work on it is standing on its own, and you don't actually have to like physically be there to sell it. They remember it from, you know, the designs of the work or whatever. And a lot of my stuff is like basic pots, so like for some reason they can remember the colors on the pots that matched the things that I have at the show, or like the shape or something, that the handle is something that grabs them to like remember or have that in their mind. So that was one thing that came up. And then I think I wrote something about expecting past success or work sales to guarantee future success. I think that was talking about just because you did well at, I want to say at the same show, but just because you've done well with these forms at a certain show doesn't mean that it's going to guarantee you're going to have the same success or better at a similar show. Like it's like you're starting from scratch at each show because there's so many variables of like what makes it good or bad, or the customers, and you know, it is basically like you're starting over each time, and it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed any, because part of it could be the weather was amazing that day, so more people came out, so you had an amazing day. Like
Right.
We've had days like that. Like I think that's the reason the Woodland show was so good this year, is because the weather was amazing and better than it's been in the last few years or whatever. Okay, the next part I had was about pricing. Getting in the right buyers. So I think some of the ones you've talked about seems like people aren't willing to spend the price at which your work is. So I think that's more of like a show work fit kind of thing.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know, because I think that I would often argue that because there's people around me that have higher prices that do well. You know? Like my earrings.
Is there a reason they're doing better than you? Do you think they've seen the customer knows them potentially? They've already owned their stuff. They've done they live in the area.
There's a lot of variables that I do not know the answer to, Ryan. But
I know, I'm just saying just because they have similar prices and people are willing to spend that doesn't mean that they know you and they're willing to spend it for you.
I guess. I mean, it seems to me that like Bloomington has no problem spending the money that I've had for my stuff, you know, which is typically a more liberal town, like college students, fucking I think a younger set of people. But then you go into like that one show that right after, it was like that's the richest fucking county in Kentucky. So there's no reason that
Have you ever done a show in Louisville? besides the Backyard Craft Show?
No. But
Okay, I think that's a big factor. Besides Louisville, like I haven't even had success in Louisville. Like I haven't found a good show in Louisville
yeah.
myself.
I
and
know,
I've been doing
but
so
what
many
I'm-
in Kentucky.
but-
So I think you're working against yourself in Louisville, honestly.
But we were just talking about, like, quite literally, we were just talking about price, and that's all I was talking about. Like,
Yeah.
that area tends to be, like, it is the most well-off area in Kentucky. And if I'm in the most well-off area, and I know there's money because I watched $700 strollers walk past me, like... And I'm not even talking about the cups here. I'm not talking about cups. I'm talking about like just the jewelry.
And do you have the items that those people with money are looking for?
I don't know. They seem to love everything that I have, and then they walk away. So I don't know.
Okay.
That's the
So what
biggest
would-
fucking weird shit to me is that.
But I think that's just being kind. I don't think they know you. They come in, they're shopping, they're looking. They don't intend to buy because they've never seen you before.
No,
They're
I
not impulse buying.
I understand that. I understand
so
that.
they're being
I just
kind
like.
about they like your stuff.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just fucking weird. It's just fucking weird. Like.
Why is it weird?
But somebody walks in there like, oh my fucking goodness, this is so cute. You are so amazing. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Thank you so much. And then walks away.
So you take that as a net negative interaction?
I take that as a very confusing interaction.
I take that as a slightly above positive above average interaction. Because most people, would you rather than not say anything at all and then they walk away? Would you feel better about that interaction?
Yes, I would.
Why?
I don't know. It feels.
Does it not make you feel good if they compliment your work?
It just feels weird. It's like, it just feels weird for them to like walk away. And like, I could understand it if they were walking away and they didn't like walk around and buy a bunch of other stuff, but then they like look at my shit that's the same price as everybody else's booth, and then they like walk away with like 5 bags of stuff. Like I do understand that people don't buy things. I'm not naive. Like I understand that. It's just that what am I doing wrong as opposed to the person next to me?
I don't think you could have made that sale though.
How do you know?
Because they were just trying to be nice. I don't think I don't know what were the other people selling that you think people were buying. Were they buying other craft items or were they buying like honeys and things like that?
No, it was all like art stuff, like arts and crafts.
All art stuff.
Yeah, and like I mean, at Bloomington, I had no issue selling stuff, and nobody had even met me before. Like
Okay.
Like the first show I ever had at Bloomington was $4,000, and I had no issue selling anything, you know? And I think that that's it. It's like the inconsistencies are really interesting to me, and I'm not upset about it. I'm just, and I don't know if it's just this year, because I know that a lot of people have been saying that this year is like trash compared to last year. And I get that. You haven't had a trash year this year compared to last year, but like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know for sure. I know.
I think I've had to make some adjustments of the booth a little bit so that I feature things that are more likely to sell.
Yeah, but like online sales, I know have been a lot less from all my friends that have online.
It's been slower for me too, yeah. For online.
Yeah, so I understand that, and I understand the economy where it's at and like how fucking shitty it is. It's just really.
Do you normally look at other people's if people are carrying around other people's stuff? I never notice that. I never see if people are carrying around bags or
it's
like,
because you don't
they
have
bought this other
time.
Potter's bag.
I
don't look at that. I don't. That's a comparing to other people thing. It's like I don't know that there's going to be a positive in that.
I look at people and if they have bags just to see if they're buying things. So
Okay.
I don't really care whose they are. Just generally, I like to look and see if people have bags in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a lot more time on my hands than you do. So at shows, I tend to like just sit a lot. and not talk to people because people don't come into my booth. So, like, I don't.
Okay. So you're looking around and just observing and
Yeah, I mean,
seeing
like,
what's
what
going
else am
on.
I gonna do, right? Like,
I make notes of items that I need to restock on. I make notes of, glazes I'm low on because I can see all of my inventory out. So like that's kind of what I use my downtime, or I make sure to eat a snack or whatever.
I mean,
Like,
I do that too, but I'm not gonna not look around. Like, I'm an extremely observant human being. Like, that's what I do. Like, you can't tell me.
but it sounds like the looking around is making you go downward.
No, I'm just.
Like I'm
I
not saying
just
don't look
notice that
around, but I'm
people-
saying perceive it differently to where it's not like, oh, they're getting this and not me.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but also, like, when you have a whole fucking show to think about it, like, you can only make so many notes, Ryan. I don't know what to tell you. Like, like, I'm not trying to be negative, but I notice that people are getting things, and I notice that they're not getting things at my booth. So, what am I doing that is different from all these other people? Is it how I'm interacting with people? Is it how I look? Is it how my booth looks? Which I think it looks good. Like, my booth is not ugly. Is it like, is it all of these different things? And I don't know.
I don't think from the pricing perspective, I don't think you should change the price.
I'm not going to change the price.
I think making the items that are more more likely to sell at the show, I guess, make them easier to interact with, I guess, or I heard you talking about the jewelry set. I want to say you said the jewelry setup, and I wonder if like comparing your setup to other jewelers has any effect on like what people expect from the work.
I don't know, because there's like two different levels of jewelers, There's like the people that come with like really great setups and like put them out not on cards and have them so people can pick them up and stuff like that. And then there's the people that just always have things on cards. So
yeah, because you want yours to be like something you would pick up and you would put on regularly. You don't want it to be a coveted item that you want to keep behind glass and people can observe,
right,
and have to ask to be able to touch it,
right. Yeah, I mean, my setup has definitely changed since last year. I had them on the wooden pieces last year, and now it's a lot less up
on the wooden, like the cork things.
No, I had them on like, you remember the like U-shaped wood,
right?
Yeah,
where they had to point them out and you could like unhook them and they could.
Them, yeah.
What if you had a different tray? Like, do you think the tray could be improved?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I was thinking that it might be good to put them more hanging, like on the rods. I like the rods. So,
have you walked around shows and saw jewelers that you liked and you thought you could adapt?
Yes,
some
I do that
parts from
every
there?
show.
Okay. So then the hanging.
Well,
is
I
like,
do feel like
maybe this
my
could be
setup
doable.
is totally different than everybody else's setup. I will say that. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of it has to do with the setup, but I also think a lot of it has to do with how many options are available, which will be cut significantly in the future.
Well, you could test that out by just having less items out at the show, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or changing the way the table's set up. Like not having the little cubby white thing. Like, do you have something instead that could be on there? Or
I don't have something like quickly, but yeah. And I've like significantly reduced the cubby white thing. It's like a tray that has separations in it, so people kind of understand. It kind of looks like a
it's kind of like a paint palette, like
yeah,
kind
of like a
palette.
super large paint palette. And I used to put like way more earrings in each of them, but like So here's the thing, right? Like I go to the fucking the coffee festival, and I realize that it's my second year, but I only had like 5 repeat customers at the coffee festival. Okay, I realize it's my second year. I have the exact same setup as the next week. Like my setup hasn't changed.
Did you have the cubbies last time?
Yeah.
You had the wooden shelves. You had the cubbies?
Oh, I had the cubbies last time. I had the wooden pegboards last year.
Last time. Yeah.
But this year I did really well at the I only, you know, like that's what we expected, you know? And then I don't know. I mean, like I guess we'll have to see how it looks at Bloomington this year, because I've done Bloomington with that same setup and I did fine. I did like 12 to 1,300 in one day, you know?
Do you still have the standing shelf? Is that an outdoor or indoor?
What?
The Bloomington one.
Indoor.
Indoor, 10 by 10, 8 by 8?
It's
or is it just a
technically
table?
8 by 8, but I have a corner, so I think it'll be more.
I wonder if you didn't even have the shelves underneath visible at all and just had the vertical shelves for the cups, and you only had jewelry on the top, so the focus was on the top. There's nothing to distract you below.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would have any impact
Yeah.
on...
This last show
Because
I
it's
covered up
kinda
the very,
busy.
very bottom. I like put a black sheet over it so you couldn't see it.
Because I wonder if you cover up the entire shelving
The
unit
entire
underneath
thing.
the tabletop.
Yeah, that may be something.
Because if you got at the corner, you can utilize that vertical shelf. Because you don't have enough fancy cups that you need all of the vertical shelf and all of the bottom shelves. Right?
I have a fair amount of fancy cups.
But do you really need like 50 out?
No. No. Okay, so if I did just the jewelry on the table and then covered up everything below.
Mm-hmm. With a tablecloth or something that would
Yeah.
cover it. I mean, the only thing that would limit the people, well, I mean, I guess you have this the same way. Only the people that are on that front table can see the earrings versus like, you know, on a corner, you could, I don't know if you have a little area where people could look at them on the other, if you had a little table or something that people could look at them on the other side of the corner.
No. I mean, I'm on an interior corner, not an exterior corner this year, so it's a little bit different. So,
Okay.
but
I wonder if that would help. Because the earrings can be busy, right? Because there's so many of them. It could be overwhelming. But if you remove the things below their view, because if you're walking up to the booth, you see the earrings like within eyesight, and then you have the things below that kind of just out of eyesight, but still in your peripheral.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that adds any. You know, it would focus what you want them to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. How's pricing stuff? How do people... Oh, this was about signing the work, but how do people find you if they like your work? Like, how do they come back to you? I mean, I guess you hope that they either remember your name, your business name, or they still have your card, your little sticker.
Yeah.
Because the earrings, there's not really a way for you to sign it.
Right.
Except the little cards. I mean, I guess the cards that you put them on.
Yeah.
Do you put everyone, even the hoops, you put them on a card?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it says 5 Lines Pottery on the card, or it just says the 5?
No, it's got on the back. It's got the website and everything that...
It's got everything on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing was like the cups and stuff. I don't know how... I mean, you would have to sign it somehow. But like I don't know
I'd
how
have
many...
to sign it legibly, too. Like, I'd have to sign it so that, like, people could actually
I think
see
you
it.
could do like what if you had like an underglazed stamp or something that you stamped inside
Underglazed
the inner
stamps are
foot?
so fucking tacky.
What are you talking about? That would look clean.
It would stand off, though.
Not you have the recessed foot, don't you? On the fancy cups, you have the recessed trimmed foot on the inside.
Yeah, I
You couldn't
sand
get one
the
that's
whole
like-
thing.
Why do you have to sand that inner foot?
Because that's the whole point of the fucking cup. It's smooth all over.
I know, but the branding is going to carry you. I'm saying it's a trade-off, right? Your trade-off is that people can't find you potentially cannot find you if they wanted to get more from you. I think that is a factor that you should put out there as like, okay, this could affect whether people buy from me again.
I mean, I put a card with everything. It's not like I don't.
Yeah. Okay, what if they get that card, they go to the show, they've been using your cup for 6 months. How do they find out who you are? You hope that they have the card and they remember who you are?
I don't know. I usually tell them just to remember 5 lines of Coke. Never forget that after that. Okay. But I understand.
I was thinking like having something that is like Googleable. Mine's RD. I'm sure people could look up RD ceramics or RD pottery or whatever.
I'm gonna Google something that RD right now. RD pot cup. That's what I'll.
There is an RD pottery, and then RD ceramics is the second one.
No, I did RD cup, and you are not here.
On Google?
Yeah. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own Google. It knows you.
But you can look up RD pottery, RD ceramics.
Okay, I'm gonna look up RD pottery.
I'm the second one that comes up.
RD pottery. There's your picture. You are the second one that comes up.
And then if you scroll down, my Facebook is on there.
Yeah.
And then my shop is on there. There's some Pinterest stuff on there. There's a lot of Pinterest stuff on here.
Ugh, if you Googled 5 lines, you would not find me.
5 lines ceramic. 5 lines.
If you Googled 5 lines pottery, you would though.
See, I think you can come up with a stamp. I think you can get an underglaze stamp that would be like 1.5 inches or something.
We'll see.
That you could stamp in there. I mean, it's a trade-off, right? That's the risk you run. You've got to hopefully they remember enough that.
You know, this is why I didn't record this with you in the first place.
That's why I made notes while I was doing it. I know this is not supposed to be a jab on you. This is supposed to be like, hey, these are things that factor into whether people are going to buy from you and come back to you.
Okay.
That will help you like long term. I mean, it was influences a buyer to purchase from you or like purchase again from you. The next one I wrote on here, let's see, coming with the budget as a customer. So we kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
A budget conscious customer, not splurging. Maybe they're not coming to buy that thing today, but maybe later. Yeah, that's just kind of the repetition thing. You know, they see you, they don't buy today, but maybe they see you at the next show and they're like, oh, I remember you from the coffee show. And they'll see you at something in the winter and they're like, oh, I'm second time seeing this cup. I want to get this cup for my whatever. I didn't have anybody in mind and now I got somebody in mind to buy this for. So, and then the next one I wrote was the appearance impact. So you talked about this a little bit about like, is it the way I look? Is it the way I dress? And the best takeaway I had for this was like, if you don't feel like you know like what to wear and don't want to wear something like completely out of your comfort zone, like work with somebody that knows your style, knows what you're comfortable with, and has an idea of like something that they might suggest to you of like, why don't you wear something like this? And they like recommend it for you. So I was thinking like, Becca, could you work with Rachel? She knows your style. She knows what you could like be willing to wear. You don't have to wear a dress, but it's like, is there somebody in your sphere that you'd be like, can you help me decide on something that would be professional at a show?
I would bet $20 that once I start wearing aprons at shows, which is now because I pulled out all my winter clothing, I'm going to do 10 times better at shows.
Can you wear a draper in the whole year?
I suppose I could probably wear it in the summer. It's very hot. but I could probably wear it for shows if I had like one drapern that I wore for shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked your comment about the draper, and I think it could help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it has an impact. Like I was talking with Isaac because I was like, the shirts matter. I don't know what it is, and Isaac was like, it just makes you like more approachable. Like people, I don't. It's like an eye grabber, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it shows your personality, so it makes you like welcoming, or I don't know. I mean, I think it's partially what you're wearing, but
Right.
also like,
But it's like so
how
easy
you-
as a guy to be like, I get to wear a button-up shirt, you know? Like,
but there's tons of attire that women can wear that are comfortable, but also like professional.
sure. I don't own any of them, but
I would argue that a cotton shirt in the summer is not comfortable. 100% cotton shirt is not comfortable in the summer because you sweat and it stays in. So like I think there are more comfortable attire that would work for a long show day.
yes. I don't know. I don't know the difference between my cotton shirts and other shirts because I don't look at the tags. But yeah. I mean, yes, I agree. I agree that there are things, but I also, and I'm not
Because I would suspect comfortability is important so you can get through the day.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna wear a fucking pair of sweatpants to a show. Usually, I wear jeans and a night like a decent shirt. Or if I am at a
or some breathable shorts or
yeah,
something.
if I'm at a summer show, I'll wear like cotton pants or not linen pants, like linen pants and a shirt or whatever. But it's not like I'm coming up like a fucking hobo, you know? Like
I mean, most of it people can't see if you're behind a table.
If you're behind a table,
with a
they can't
tablecloth.
see, yeah.
So like if you're wearing, Crocs or something, like people can't see that
Right.
because you're behind the table anyways.
Yeah.
Or maybe you bring like a little padded floor mat or something that goes
Right.
behind your table. So maybe you wear nicer looking shoes, but they're behind a table so you're still comfortable.
Yeah.
So if you're walking around, you're still like presentable or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure people out there can find some if they're not like, and I'm sure there's way more that goes into women getting ready for a show in the morning than I have. I can shower and get my hair ready and stuff in like 30 minutes.
I wonder if I just wore an apron. Like if I didn't wear a draperin, but I just like brought an apron, and wore it over
I think that would look good.
whatever
Yeah.
clothes, Yeah, that might be a good compromise.
What color apron? I feel like the color could.
I have a one this color. It's like a maroon color. It's a nice color.
Maroon, yeah. Or like I think you have the draperins that are like mustard yellow or something.
I do have those. Those are very bright. Yeah.
Yeah. What if you got one that had 5 lines pottery on it?
That'd be nice. Yeah. I don't know if my mom's
So
gonna
that
make
would
me
be
an
another
apron.
way people could remember the name.
Yeah. I wonder if my mom would make me an apron with my name on it.
Yeah.
What up, home skillets? So, we're interrupting this time because we couldn't interrupt it at the time of the time. So, I wanted to talk to you about the L&L thermocouple guard because that's my favorite part of the new kilns is that, how like when you have a normal thermocouple, it just like sticks out and it's just like out there all willy-nilly in front of God and everybody, and it just has no protection at all. Well, on the new thermocouples in the L&L kilns, they have a cool guard, and it's almost like a PVC pipe type thing, but it's ceramic, obviously. But it's kind of like a tube that surrounds the thermocouple, and what it's doing is that it's protecting it from any damage that might happen, so it'll get damaged before the thermocouple actually gets damaged. And also, what I think is really, really great is that none of the black dusty stuff that happens to quite literally every thermocouple, whether you get it from one kiln company or the other. It degrades and it starts to like kind of crumble and fall, and that guard is actually going to catch all those little black crumblies. And that, in my opinion, is the coolest thing about the new L&Ls, because I haven't seen a thermocouple guard like that in any other kiln, and I just think that that's so nice. Like, what's great about it is that, you know, you have to protect 3 thermocouples. You're not just, because there is zone control, you're not just protecting 1 thermocouple, you have to protect 3. And that just kind of takes the worry out of it all. So you can go to hotkilns.com and see what I am talking about and find all of the L&L awesomeness that you want. They have a fantastic website that has all of the things you need, and also it has a great troubleshooting area as well. I've used it many a times, even for my kiln that's not L&L. So yeah, let's get back to our regular program.
Are there other... do you think there's... I'm sure there's enough people that are like... It's just not comfortable to... Like... It's not you to dress like professional.
I definitely think there are times and people that, like, if you put them in really nice clothing, they're going to underperform because they are so uncomfortable. I do think, like, if you put me in something that was like slacks and a button-up t-shirt, I would be fucking with it the whole day, like trying to make it be comfortable, and I would probably be a fucking mess. You know, I do think that there is a point where you have to dress to who you are at some point, you know. I think it's easier for, like, I'm going to say this and you can try to disagree or not, but I think it's easier for, like, skinny people to dress like kind of like loose and casual and still look great, as opposed to somebody who might be fat or bigger that's like, you try to dress loose and casual and it looks like you're a fucking slob. So I do think that has its merit, you know. So and no matter, you can try to disagree,
and maybe the apron or the drapron is a good equalizer.
I think so.
It gives you something that's like nobody's gonna argue with you wearing an apron because it's very accessible. It's like you've got things that you need to get to,
and you could pretty much wear whatever you want under it, and it's mostly gonna hide everything. Yeah.
Or you can still wear a comfortable shirt under it that looks like complimentary to it or something. Like, I mean, the number of shows you can do, you could probably come up with 2 sets of
clothes
like
that you wear.
Clothes that you only wear 2 shows, and that's it.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And it's like, I think the way that you said, if you wear something that's like too professional, like, it's kind of, in a way, I think it's sort of, you also kind of dress differently, but you dress in a way so that you're kind of like, I want to say you're performing, you're putting on a performance.
Right.
You're kind of like, you're getting yourself ready so that you know that you put in the effort to like show up and present yourself in a way that gives you confidence, as well as is going to be appealing to the public or something, so that like you're kind of getting yourself psyched up so that you have a good mentality going in.
Right.
And if you feel good and you dress well and you feel good about it, then you're going to have a much better day to start off
and
with.
that also, with that, it really does matter how you have dressed your whole life too. You know, like, you feel confident in a really nice shirt and some slacks, or like jeans that are nice and stuff like that. Like, I've never in my life felt confident in, like, quote unquote, the normal nice clothing, just because of how I've always, well, like, just my upbringing and stuff like that. So I think that matters too. Like, you have to, like, you can't dress, like what we said before, you can't dress out of who you are.
What did you wear to church back in the day when you were growing up and stuff?
Jeans and a t-shirt.
Obviously, that's too Jeans and a t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe you don't like go as fancy as like church clothes, but you like come back to like
Church. I didn't.
business professional.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I want to say business professional, but that's not it. Business casual.
Business casual.
Maybe that's...
When I had to, let me tell you, the first job that I had that had like a really gnarly uniform was Sherwin-Williams, and I felt like a fucking like clown every day of working there.
You're probably in an apron with that, right? So you don't get your stuff dirty?
I think we did have aprons. No, we didn't. We didn't have aprons. It was just a blue collared t-shirt and then khaki pants, and it was fucking awful because they make...
I hate polos. Well, I don't like the look. I mean, I look okay in polos, but I don't like polos.
I hate khakis because, like, they don't make them like jeans. Like, I can wear a good jean, but they don't make khakis like jeans.
Stuff, right?
And so, it was awful. It was fucking awful. Any job that I've had that's had a dress code, I've just like immediately gone home and changed because it was the worst. It felt awful, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clothes suck.
That was... Would you want to work with, like, what if you worked with Rachel and she like came up with something like, hey, do you want to try this? Like, do you think she would have something? She's not going to give you what she wears, but she knows what you would wear. Like, you're like, no.
I could maybe do that. I like the idea of an apron.
What if it was like overalls?
Dude, I wanted to try overalls for a while, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel like overalls look very artsy.
I feel like I would look like a fat farmer in overalls.
Erica's like, I'm wearing overalls.
Erica does look really cute in overalls. I don't know. We're about the same
overalls,
size.
and that's like a... What do you call the shirt? What is that?
It's like a mock turtleneck.
Yeah.
A mock turtleneck.
Well, I'm never in my life wearing a turtleneck because
they make the shirt without a turtleneck.
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm dying. But can you please tell Erica that she does look cute in the overalls?
What?
She said you do look cute in the overalls.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably rock an overall. I always teeter on the line of looking like trash or a fucking farmer. So, I
feel like they could be cut like a little. They make those fabrics different too. Like, I mean, Rachel always gets jumpsuits and stuff these days. She's got a few of those, but like I feel like the overalls come in different fabrics where like they're a little bit breathable.
Yeah,
and they're not just like denim.
I think you're talking about like a like a silk,
kind of like a jumpsuit fabric,
like
but...
yeah. What are those called?
Or maybe they're kind of
canvas
canvas or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Rachel has like jumpsuits.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty hot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's not even the winter. The winter is not the issue. It's definitely the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
All right. And then another part you were talking about was stories. Like, you don't have stories to tell.
I do not.
About your stuff. But, like, the way I was spinning that a little bit that maybe could be adaptable is, how did you start making those items? Like, what made you want to start making earrings?
Okay.
I think that is important to tell if you don't feel like this color is sparking this feeling.
When do you say that, though? Like, let's say you're me in this scenario, and I pick up a hoop, and I'm looking at it. What would you say?
Why did you start making? Did you say, okay? What do you generally feel about hoops that are not yours? Like, do you have a sense of how you feel about them? Do you wear them? Do you not wear them? Is there a reason why you do or don't?
Yeah, I like them.
Okay, why do you wear them, or why do you not wear them?
I like sassy hoops.
Okay. Do you have any feelings about like the weight? Are hoops generally heavy?
People always do say these are a lot lighter than.
Okay, so you say, "Hey, I started." Are the hoops like the main thing that got you into making the earrings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you could say, "Hey, generally, I don't wear that many hoops, or I was wearing hoops for a period of time. I stopped wearing them because they were just wearing down my ears, or something like that. Mine are a lot lighter." and I really enjoy that. And then they're different colors, so you can pair whatever color, and you got the specs to like balance it out. I don't know. That's the kind of story I'm thinking of. Like, is there a reason you stopped wearing them, or you started making them because you were saying like hoops are generally thought of as heavy?
Yeah.
And I'm making these that are light intentionally so that they don't hurt your ears or make it to be something that you can't wear a lot.
Right.
Like, is that something that could be tweaked a little bit to be talked about?
Yeah.
Or those are my hoops. I like to call those my... Do you just call them hoops or do you call them something funny?
No, we just call them hoops, I guess now,
Okay.
but yeah.
Or you say, hey, you got the hoops. I've also got these other ones that are like chains, so they're multiple and they're all different colors, so you can figure out which, you know, if you want to mix up, if you want more than just a solid color and you want a set of colors that kind of are in this color
Right.
scheme. Let's see if there's... Because I feel like if you're just going right into it and saying like titanium and stuff, you're giving them bullet points of what, like, I want to say what a typical retailer would like say of like, these are the things that are going to sell you on this, is telling that they're titanium and such. Do you think, I don't know how many people know about the differences of those and like, or if they've had issues with irritating their ears, and those are the people that are more likely to care about the titanium and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people care about the ear metal, but I see where you're coming from. Like, don't necessarily say like, hey, like what I typically say is, hey, just so you know, these are all made out of clay and they're all backed in titanium. And then I kind of just stop.
Because I think usually when I have somebody come to the booth, I don't have a boilerplate. I used to say, hey, these are all made on the wheel. Let me know if you have any questions or something. Or, hey, I'm Ryan. Let me know if you have any questions. I feel like those boilerplate things that they feel like everybody gets fed every single time they come into your booth. I feel like it feels like you're doing the thing you have to do.
Right.
Rather than letting them look, and then it's a different
and then they pick
it's a different
something
interaction
and then
if you
you're like,
let them pick it up.
Okay.
And then they're looking at it and they're like looking at and it's just a lot of body language, like looking to see if they, oh, can I put this in my ear? And then they put it up, or can I hold this up or whatever? And you say, yeah, go ahead and hold that up. By the way, all of the backs are titanium and so, so that it feels like you're tweaking it to that interaction. Yeah. And you're still getting that information to them, but it's tailored
to them,
to the way that they're actually doing it.
That's a good good way to look at it.
Because similar to like the bottles, people walk up and they look at the oil bottle. They're like, what is that? I let them say, what is that? I don't like see them looking at it, have a confused look on their face, and then I just blurt out, oh yeah, those are olive oil bottles. Most people use these for cooking, or you can use them for dish soap, blah, blah, blah. Like I think you need to kind of keep some of that stuff held back until they show a commitment or an interest at least, so that you can open up the option to like talk about that.
Yeah.
So like, and then the fancy cups, I'm sure there's some. Do you have things that you talk about the fancy cups?
Yeah, the fancy cups are a lot easier. Like,
and do they actually have to actively pick them up, and then you're talking about like what is your
I typically
spiel for that?
Yeah, I mean, like the fancy cups are easy. It's just been really hard for like, I don't think I had an issue doing a story for like all those different pots that I made. It's just been the earrings that's just been like hard for me to nail down, especially since it is so like personal almost. Like you're so close to these people, like literally in proximity, and you know.
What do you mean close to the people? What do you mean? Because the table's really short?
Yeah, the table's like really short, and they're like right up in your face, and you know you kind of just don't want to talk their ear off, but you kind of do, and so it's been that. It's just the earrings have been really kind of hard for me to figure out the storyline for it. But I like that idea of kind of like coming up with something after they pick it up. So I think that'll help.
Because, I mean, generally, I don't, and this is going to differ based on the person, but generally, I like to not be engaged until I'm, like, showing some kind of, I mean, I still say hi to people. If they make
Right.
eye contact with me, I say, hi, how's it going? Or,
Yeah.
hi there. And just keep it super simple. I'm not like asking. I don't always ask them a follow up question like "How's your day going?" or whatever. I'll just say "Hi there" or "Hey." But yeah, I just feel like there's so on a regular basis we just get so much stimulus all the time.
Yeah.
So it just can feel exhausting. And also when I like say something to people like the oil bottles, for instance, I always lead with most people use these for olive oil or dish soap because they're going to only remember the last thing you said. The olive oil is an obvious thing, so I don't lead with dish soap because they're going to forget the first thing. So I end with dish soap and they're like, oh, dish soap, I didn't think of that. So the way you order it is going to make it a little bit more like, okay, this is what's going to stick with them. Not that they're going to buy it for dish soap, but it just gives them another option to think about. But yeah, maybe the early on is discussion is like, hey, I encourage you to pick these up. You can feel how light they are.
Yeah.
They're actually made of clay, so they're fired all the way to
I definitely
whatever.
tell people to pick them up. Like,
yeah.
yeah. You just have to, especially with how much my stuff is. You have to be like, it's very much encouraged that you touch everything.
Yeah. And then I wonder, and I think you were, I want to say at the coffee show you were saying, I don't know if you did this because the pricing was different at the show, but you said, by the way, all the hoops are $30 no matter which selection. Like, I don't remember if that was part of what you said to everybody. Like, these are all titanium backed, so and so. All the earrings are titanium backed. All the pairs are $30. Like, it feels kind of like it just kind of goes back to that it seems like boilerplate information that you say to everybody and doesn't seem personalized unless they ask you a question.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I wonder if customers are, I mean, I get some people would rather see the price than have to ask for the price because if they have to ask, they're probably not going to get it or they can't afford it or whatever. Right. But yeah, I think you can come up with some.
Well, Rachel made me that sign, and I don't really say it unless they ask anymore, but some people don't see the sign.
What sign? Which sign?
The sign that says, create your own pair, $30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, people definitely don't read. Like, I keep the signs on the table and all that. People are so zoned in.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just look at the berry bowls on the shelf, and there's literally a berry bowl sign right next to them, and they won't look at. They'll be like, "What are those?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "They're berry bowls. Like you'd use them like kind of like a colander. You put this and that in there, and then you drain it, and eat snack out of it, whatever." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, it says berry bowls right there." Like, people are so zoned in, they don't really like observe to try to remove that need to ask you. Even the spoon rest and stuff, like it says spoon rest, tea bag holder, blah 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 blah. It's all on the table there, and it's got the thing. But some of it, if you intentionally leave some room for questions, that's why I wouldn't have signs on everything, because I just think it takes out that moment to actually like show them your personality or talk to them a little bit, so there's a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so hard to make a sale when there's literally no back and forth, when all they do is pick it up and they hand it to you to buy.
Right,
and that's
for
it.
sure.
Like, that's like the least, the hardest way to sell it is if that's the only interaction you have with them.
Right.
And then I wrote something else about the stories. Let's see. What do you love about them, or why do you like making them?
Okay.
I feel like you have some. I mean, there's probably a reason why you like making the. Do you have that story for the fancy cups of like, or like?
No.
Why do you care that they're so smooth?
Because I say that I like a tactile experience.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then when they pick certain things up, like the Sgraffito mugs, I'll be like, yeah, they're very tactile, right?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, look at the bottom. I even carved the bottom. Or you say like, oh yeah, go ahead and pick up the bottom. Like even feel the bottom and feel all the textures on the side. They all feel a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's ways you just have to figure out your stories.
Yeah. For sure.
And part of it's like, some people are like, oh, well, they don't want to know about how I make it because it's so technical. It's like over their head, but you could figure out a way to simplify it so that it's like, oh yeah, these are all thrown on the pottery wheel and then I carve them after they are firm enough or, not too soft or whatever. You can come up with ways to educate them of like, okay, what actually goes into this process? Because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. 100%.
So, let's see. The only other things, I had looking at sales throughout the day. I don't know if that, so I intentionally do that not to influence how my day goes. I don't know how much that influences how your day
No, it doesn't
goes.
influence it. I'm more of a, I got to do better instead of, I'm doing shitty.
But what do you change though? You change something based on the sale.
No, I don't.
But you just said, I got to do better. So you're trying to do something different, right?
I mean, like, no, I don't feel like it changes anything. It just is like, okay, like, I'd prefer to do better right now. Like, I'd like to get more sales. I don't think it really changes how I
wonder, see, I don't know. I wonder if there's there's no, like, actual... There's no way to prove that there's something that's like exuding of like, I need to do better, or like, I'm having a bad day, I need to sell more. Like, I don't know if that like impacts the way you if people can tell that on you, that you're like desperate for sales.
No. I don't think so.
Have you ever done shows without looking at the sale the entire day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it any different?
No.
Okay.
It hasn't been in a while though, but I definitely think that there's people that need to look at their sales, and there's people that need to not look at their sales, and I am one of the people that needs to look at their sales.
So does it? But what does it give you?
It gives me, I don't know. What does it give you to not look at your sales?
It keeps me on an even keel the entire day because I have no impact, negative or positive, from the
I
number
think that if it's
that
a
I'm
positive
hoping to get at the
number,
end of the
it
weekend.
makes me happier.
Does the individual sale itself make you happier without looking at your actual sales number? An individual sale, when you get like a good sale, it doesn't do anything positive or negative.
Unless
for
it's
you?
like $400.
Okay.
But if it's like a $35 sale, I'm like, whatever. You know?
But those, you need a number of $35 sales to equal your
Yes, you do.
big number. So
Yeah. And that's why I look at...
I feel like I get energized by the sale, like the continuous sales.
Yeah, that's because that's
whether
you.
whether it's a spoon rest sale or...
I can't even remember what I had 2 seconds ago. Like, I can't even remember, like, what we said 4 minutes ago. And so I have to, like, look at my numbers to be like, oh, yes, that's right. I did this. And then I continue on.
Okay. So you're just trying to remember that you had sales?
Pretty much. Listen, Ryan, I will open up the sale thing and be like, okay, $250. Sweet. Close it. And then I'll be like, how much was that? 4 minutes later. And then I'll open it up again and be like,
that's why I say you shouldn't look at it the entire day. Because the money's not going to drop into your account as soon as it goes in.
I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference between somebody who makes money that doesn't need it and somebody who makes money that needs it. That's the difference. I think that's where we're different here. Is that like the amount of money that I make on this sale, on this show, means that I can
Matters.
eat next week. And the amount of money you make doesn't mean anything. Like, it means like you had a great show, but it's like you are like, you know. And so when I see $700, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can pay myself next week, you know.
Okay.
And when you see $700, like, man, it could be a good show, you know. It's like, yeah, it's okay, you know. Like, that's totally different, you know. I think that that's the difference. And
does that relate to my point about, do customers see desperation on you versus...
I'm very good at hiding desperation. I've been acting my entire life, okay? I don't look desperate, okay? I look like a normal, crazy person, which I already am. I'm going to go with, I will still keep looking at my phone. I will try it. I'll try it one time. I will try to... Hey, I looked at your sales and my sales at the coffee festival and it didn't affect anything.
But you were saying like, ooh, I'm close to you, or ooh,
yeah,
I'm
because it's
beating you,
hilarious,
or whatever.
I gotta update Rachel.
I think it's like a multiple. I think it's like do it a couple times. I don't think it's a one time and be like, okay, we're done. We're never doing that. Like, I think you got to do it a couple times and see, or do it for like a month of shows and be like, okay, I'm not gonna look until. And I don't even look. I mean, generally, I don't look until the end of the day, in the end of the whole weekend. But I have been looking at the end of each day just so because I've been putting the actual sales in threads every day after I do this show, to give people insight into like, here's what I actually sold. But usually I wouldn't look at it. Usually Rachel's like, hey, have you looked?
I
Did
think
you look yet?
that
I do think there is
Are you
something to
still
what
there?
you said about like you need the money versus.
oh no, he left.
I'm still here.
Ryan!
You can't see me? Oh my gosh.
That was wild.
All
You
right.
just like went away.
I don't know. My internet was being weird today. I think it was me but it didn't show that I didn't have internet, so
That's
was weird.
Anyway, what I was going to
We gotta
say
wrap up here in a minute, anyways.
is
But
that the likelihood of me not checking is slim, because but I don't think that it changes. If anything, it makes it better for me.
I think there's other variables that are more important than that,
Yes.
and it seems like, and it sounds like from what you're saying, like you're not impacted by it.
No.
And if you don't like show it and like get like, "Meh."
Right. I would probably be more impacted by not seeing it, because I'll feel like something's really slow when it wasn't actually that slow.
Yeah. I mean, I do think if it's slow and it is, if you're going into it thinking this show's not going to be good, and then the sales are proving to you it's not going to be good, then I think it could lead to you like phoning it in a little bit the rest of the day, because it's already proved to you that it's not good.
Right.
I think it could impact whether you like work harder the rest of the day, or like are as
That's fair.
like in the game as when you came into it and started the day. I don't know. That's why, and that's kind of like just a perspective change of like, what do you expect and what do you hope to get out of it, versus saying, I know this is going to be bad and we'll just get through it, you know?
I think I'm always just a pessimist. I'm a pessimist at heart, and I want you to prove me wrong. Like, I want
Who's going to
anybody. I'll go into a show and be like, this is gonna suck, and it's fucking amazing, and I'm like, great, that sounded great. Like, I like to judge people and be like, meh, I don't like this person because they're smash, fully knowing that I would love to be proven wrong when I meet them. You know, if like I haven't met somebody, I'll be like, I think this person is like this and this and this, and then I'm like, I hope they change my mind. Like, That's
Oh my god.
that,
That sounds like a tough way to go into
it's
it.
fun. Because there's
I guess you're let down less.
yeah,
because
there's
you have
only
lower
going up from there.
expectations.
Only moving up.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know.
Do we have anything else on your list?
The last thing on here, I don't remember if you mentioned it or if I just thought about it. The let people take a loop kind
Oh
of thing.
fuck yeah!
You don't think people are coming back? I think people will come back.
know people aren't coming back.
No, I think it depends on the show. It depends on how big the venue is, and depends on where you are. Like coming into the Madison show, for instance, I am right on the main strip. I'm like one of the first 20 booths
That's
people
fair.
see. People have to come back. They
Yeah.
have to loop back to get back to your car. And I understand when people don't want to carry stuff around because they literally just got there. I want to be the most informed buyer I can. I don't want to buy something and regret buying it because I see a booth later that has something better. Like, personally, I want to see the
Yeah.
assortment of things available if I don't know them already. Like, if I'm just looking for a mug
Right.
and I find one that I like, I'm going to feel worse if I go around and I see another mug that is, even better than I wanted. But, like, maybe it's one of those splurge purchases that's like a $60 mug, but I just bought a mug that's $30 that like fulfilled what I wanted, but I love this one even more, but I can't buy it because I just bought the one that was like a safe
Yeah.
one. But I could have splurged on this one if I didn't buy the other one already,
Yeah.
So like I think people do need time to come back and see you, especially in like the coffee festival. Like that's a small venue. People will come back and
For
see
sure.
you. There's only
Yeah.
40 booths to see. So like I don't let that say like fuck them, they're not coming back. Like I don't put that out there like they're not going to come back, because there was kind of related to this was there's somebody that messaged me on Etsy yesterday, and I responded to them this morning. They were looking for shot glasses. They were like, I want to get 12 of these for Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I messaged them back and I said, I can give you 12 here. Do you want them different colors, or I recommend you do the surprise me option so you can get an assortment of colors and everybody can have their own. And she replied and said, I decided to get another set of glass ones that are different colors just for what I was looking for. I don't know if it was a price thing or whatever. And she was like, but can you give me your shop so I can, see what else you have? So I'm assuming that she knows that I have she found me on Etsy, so she probably saw my shop, but she probably just found the listing when she was searching for shot glasses. So she didn't know my shop or what else I made. Long story short, she ended up buying 2 mugs of mine today online, and I shipped them out like immediately. So she actually like followed through. That would have been somebody that I was like, oh, she bought something else. She wasn't coming back to get whatever she came in for. So like, you give them the information. Hopefully they will do what they will with it and they will purchase.
I do give them the information, and I'm just saying, out of my experience, 1 out of 20 people come back.
You get that many people that say they'll come back?
So
20
many
people? I only get
fucking people.
maybe 10.
So many
maybe
fucking
10.
people say they'll come back.
So what?
I'm just saying your experience is different than mine.
I'm not saying everybody comes back. I'm saying it's a low percentage that people come back, but put out the hope that
I
people
do that.
will if they're interested
I'm always
enough.
like, I'll be here.
I don't brush them off, because it could be that they could remember that brush off from their last interaction with you last year at that same show. So maybe they see you at the show this year and they remember
I don't
that.
brush anybody off, Ryan. I have worked in retail my entire life.
Yeah.
You
don't brush anybody off?
No. That's rude.
All right. Rachel's here. We got to go do Harry Potter.
Okay. Sweet. I knew it was coming up. Anyway, that was fun. No.
Was it? Hopefully that was helpful for somebody.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Have fun at,
Thanks everybody for listening.
have fun at game night.
I'm not going to provide anything for this Harry Potter trivia. Rachel's going to be the go-to here.
Yep.
So
All right.
All right. Thanks everybody for
Thanks.
listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.